This week on Supercars Talk, Jaime and Shane Van Gisbergen get stuck in New Zealand and then they don't. There's fancy new looks for Jaime, Triple Eight, Bryce Fullwood, Erebus and Scott McLaughlin. And we can't call it the International Supercars Series anymore. The big news on everybody's lips this week is no more International Supercars Series. So for quite a few years now, Supercars has technically been an international series that's been under the FIA domain. Basically, this meant they could run up to 6 rounds overseas. We've never seen that many. I think the most we've actually seen is 1 round overseas. Obviously, Tasmania and New Zealand do not count as overseas rounds. They are counted as Australian rounds under the FIA, something to do with them being so close that they are part of Australia. So now I think without the international there, you can only run up to 1 round that's overseas. And I think there's also something that it cannot be like in North America or something like that. And I think the original big push for the international thing was because of that the round at Circuit of the Americas in North America. Because it is a regional championship again, you can only run, I think we can run in Asia, and obviously New Zealand gets counted as an Australian round, and Tasmania obviously as well. So that's big news that probably no one really cares about. The Bathurst 500, which is round 1 of the championship, will be live and free on KO. So all of those people complaining about the paywall and all that, well, you've got an option if you want to watch it live and free on Channel 7 or if you want to watch it live and free on KO. Channel 7 is not happy about this because obviously it's one of their live rounds, and essentially you can go onto KO and not pay anything for free. Because KO is a subscription thing, under the contract they can't offer it for free. Apparently Channel 7 have accepted that there is the trial periods of things like KO. I don't think you can get a free trial of Foxtel, but you can sign up to KO, I think, for 2 weeks for free. Channel 7 have accepted that is a thing of KO, but they're apparently very not happy that KO is offering some of these free events. I think they've got a special name from it, like freemium or something gay like that. But yeah, there's a little bit of anger there, and I am surprised that not surprised because it is at Bathurst, but surprised that KO didn't take the opportunity to offer one of the other rounds that isn't a Channel 7 round. The only thing I can think of is that maybe people can then back-to-back the Channel 7 service versus the KO service and kind of go, hey, this is worth paying for because ads really annoy the crap out of me. Speaking of ads and crappy coverage, TCR had their first round in well over a year because they didn't do anything last year because it's not a serious championship, and they didn't have to run last year to keep sponsors happy because there's not really any sponsors. I watched it on the Channel 7 app thing on the computer. The quality was terrible. I'm not sure if it was I clicked on the wrong button or something, but I would have expected. I'm quite used to streaming like Foxtel, KO, YouTube, things like that, where you get quite good quality on the computer. Yeah, and the production quality of it was about as good as the video quality. So, yeah. There was a massive crowd. I reckon I saw at least 150 people dotted around the track. Yeah, the racing was okay. I did miss race 2 of the weekend because I was out doing other stuff. I'm not sure whether I could catch up with it later, but I did not lose any sleep over it. They had like 14 laps or something around Simmons Plains, which is a tiny track, and they still had time certain races. And then the big draw card, or one of the big draw cards, Michael Caruso, there was all that chaos at the start of race 1 where he wasn't going to start, and then he did start, and then he was charging through, and everyone's saying, "Oh, this is going to take on Supercars." Blah, blah, blah. Well, it just looked like amateur hour. It is a new series. They were away for over 12 months, but Supercars probably shouldn't feel threatened about it at the moment. Shane Van Gisbergen and Andre Heimgartner look like they will make it back for testing. There was some issues with this virus that was going around, and we weren't allowed to do the travel between Australia and New Zealand. So it didn't look like they were going to make it home. They both did miss their livery launches, but it's looking like both of them will be back for testing, which is good for them, I suppose. Not so good, I suppose, for the co-drivers who were going to take over the roles. Well, at least Garth Tanner and Rick Kelly, the man who's been MIA since his retirement, was announced from racing. He was supposedly going to pilot Andre's Mustang if he was unavailable. And speaking of Andre, he fractured his thumb in a crash over the weekend of the NZ Grand Prix. Looks like he's going to be fine with driving duties and that. But I don't think that would have been a real comfortable having a fractured thumb while trying to drive one of those open wheeler cars. Lots of new liveries this week. Erebus had a special testing livery for their rookies to go and do a special rookie test. Will Brown and Brodie Kostecki were out there in what was quite a smart looking car. But once again, when you got no sponsors, it's quite easy to make the car look good. Be interesting to see what is announced over the next few weeks, if anything is announced. Bryce Fullwood has a new blacker livery for his Middies Commodore this year. I think this looks really good. I did quite like the look of the car last year, and it did look like the livery was designed for his car, and then the Chaz Mostert one was a bit slapped together so that they had the same kind of base look. Will it be a blacker livery for Chaz's Appliances Online car this year with, essentially all black with the sky kind of blue down the side, replacing the pink? We'll probably see that one next week. 888 came out with their brand new Red Bull livery. So they replaced Holden with Ampol down the sides of the car. The usual complaints from people: it looks the same as last year. It's just too many sponsors. It's all too crowded. Well, it's going to look the same as last year because Red Bull kind of dictates what it's going to look like, and that's that. It took a lot of finagling for them to agree to put the Holden down the flanks, so it was probably easier to just go, hey, we've replaced Holden with Ampol down the side, rather than trying to design a whole new livery and get Red Bull to sign off on it. We have seen they've added Tool Pro, which, as far as I think, is just a Super Cheap Auto brand. So it's just something they're trying to promote. And there was a big Daimler Trucks across the front of it. Lots and lots of sponsors on that car. And to everybody complaining that, the Red Bull car looks the same, well, we get to see the track assist car today as well, for Lee Holdsworth, not Lee Holdsworth anymore, Jack LeBrock's back in that car. Looks better. I do like the orange, seemed to be a bit brighter in the photos. Did look good. I think the orange wheels did lift it a bit, which sadly they'll go back to the normal kind of silver unpainted wheels. The orange wheels are just there for the promo shots to make it look really good. It frustrates me on one. I can understand why they do it, but it also frustrates me. Why can't we run with painted wheels? Yeah, okay, it's a pain in the ass, but yeah, they look so good with the painted wheels. I do understand that then if you had green wheels on the Monster car, orange wheels on the Jack LeBrock car and you can't swap them between the cars. But yeah, they just... some of these paint jobs look really good with the painted wheels, so why can't we have them painted in the races? Ryko has been added to that car, which the red does clash a bit with the orange, which is, yeah, but overall kind of happier with that car this year, whereas I think the Triple 8s is actually a step back, and I can see it just seems to progressively, Red Bull seems to just a little bit worse each year. The first few Red Bull cars looked quite good, and then as they add more and more and more sponsors, they're just a bit of a downward spiral. The new Ned Whiskey Mustang for Jaime. Talk about Jaime a lot today. Looks good. A little bit too much black on the front of the car, I think. I actually liked that cleaner, whiter look from last year because it was different. These days, there's not many white cars out there unless you go to the TCR field, which that's just because they look like fridges and there's no sponsorship. But I did like the Ned Whiskey car did stand out a bit last year because of that whiter look to it. I like the Penrite kind of down the back. It's quite good that they are on both cars. That's a good sponsorship pickup for the Kellys, definitely. But yeah, maybe if they'd left the front quarter panels white, yeah. I'm not a designer though, so what would I know? Scott McLaughlin's IndyCar for 10 of the 17 rounds. That paint job has been released, the PPG paint job. Disappointing. Yeah. I was getting excited when they did the kind of teaser thing with him in his race suit, and it looked like he was back in his Volvo suit, and yeah, it just doesn't quite hit the mark for me, this paint job. So great to see him in IndyCar, but yeah, it's just it just doesn't excite me, that paint job. An announcement that I thought had already been announced. Garth Tander has been confirmed to partner Shane Van Gisbergen at Bathurst this year. Yeah, an official announcement hit my inbox this week, and yeah, I was a bit like, thought that had already been announced. So that's one to put down in the confirmed pile. And finally, Dave Reynolds and Tahan welcomed their new baby boy, I don't know how to pronounce it, Rue or something, into the world this week. Will this affect his driving? Who knows? Probably not as much as some infighting at his previous team did last year. Enough of that. And on the channel news, last week I celebrated cracking the 400 subscribers, and as of the time of filming, I'm nearly at 700 subscribers. So welcome to all the new subscribers and new viewers. Not sure what happened with the YouTube algorithm, but apparently, going off the analytics, it seems to be off YouTube recommendations, all of the new views. So welcome to everybody. Hope you enjoy. Stick around. Down in the comments, we've got supercarstalk@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram, Supercars Talk. I am trying to post a little bit more on there to keep it a little bit more interesting. But until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.